Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to bring in the good vibes, the good energy through this incense stick that I'm burning. Welcome back to Elevation with Palesa, and I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are doing well. I just want to say thank you so much for those that have been supporting my videos, watching my videos, commenting on the videos, engaging with the videos. I'm just glad to see that the messages that I'm sharing on this channel actually reaches out to you guys. Please do continue sharing the videos to whoever you think needs the message. Please continue watching the videos, for yourself as well. Share it to friends, share it to family, share it to colleagues, share it to anyone who you think the message would resonate to. So guys, today's topic is controlling issues. I hope you guys can see me. I'm not using the usual light that I usually use because it's flat, so I came with an alternative light. But I hope you guys can see me. I hope it's crystal clear and all that. So yeah, guys, today's topic is controlling issues. So this topic, guys, is one that people touch on sometimes, but I think it's very, very crucial that we actually speak about controlling issues. Talk about what is it, that causes people to behave in a controlling manner. The impacts that controlling issues has on relationships, the impact that controlling issues have on oneself, the impact that controlling issues stems from. So yeah, guys, controlling issues is just written on the word. It's as it explains itself. So it's just basically a toxic behavior that one has of wanting to control everything. Someone that has controlling issues likes exerting force, exerting dominance, towards their victim. They like being the only ones that have a say. They like making decisions for the victim. It's all about them. It's all about their way, no other way. So someone that has controlling issues basically likes to control the outcome of things. They don't want the outcome of things to be another way. They want it to be specifically this thing. So what they will do is they will do anything to actually make sure that the outcome is exactly as they want it to be. So people who have controlling issues usually take advantage of people, especially those that are very sensitive, submissive, because they're usually the ones that are, down to earth, more quiet, more introverted. They keep things to themselves. So people that have controlling issues usually take advantage of those kind of people. So controlling behaviors is just basically the need to control the outcome of things, whether it's towards a friend, towards a family member, towards a project, towards anything that has an outcome. People that have controlling behaviors like taking the center stage and controlling the outcome of that thing. So now we're going to dive deep into the causes of controlling issues behaviors. So the first one is basically, it's normal for a human being to want to control, some things in their lives. It's actually normal, but it becomes problematic when the person now wants to be invasive, pervasive in trying to control the outcome of things in people's lives. They end up becoming toxic, they end up becoming unbearable, annoying, crossing people's boundaries, just to get the outcome of whatever it is that they want. Then it becomes a problem, So it's usually a psychological effect. It's usually a psychological effect that is caused from childhood, controlling issues. So let's say, for example, let's say a child was raised in a home whereby their guardians never gave them like a balance of give and take in a relationship. So the parent or the guardians usually used to take from the child the whole time, take from the child the whole time, take from the child the whole time, without giving the child the whole time. Obviously, that then paints a picture that no, my guardian angels, my family members, my guardians, they usually just want to take from me, and I never receive anything from them. So that causes an imbalance of a give and take in a relationship, and that then causes like the child to grow into being an adult that basically cannot find themselves in relationships whereby there's an equal balance of give and take. They usually overextend themselves to people. they usually give the whole time without taking as well, just to balance out the scales, because that's how they were raised. um Another cause can be a lack of unconditional love, within a home environment. So let's say, for example, in order for one to receive love, to receive attention, to receive nurture and care from family members, they'll have to actually work for it, So it's basically conditional. It's not unconditional anymore. They don't give the love because it's there to be given, you know what I'm saying, between family members, because love is an emotion that's already there and you just give it out. But if you're raised in a home whereby there's conditions in order for you to receive love, like you have to work for it, like you're working at a job and then you get paid month end, then it becomes a problem. It causes control issues, you understand, as you grow up. Another reason is lack of proper nurturing from family members. As I mentioned, if you basically didn't receive that nurture from family members, but instead they used to take from you, then you're most likely to actually develop controlling issues, behaviors, as an adult, stemming from childhood. Another reason and another cause can be being born in an abusive family environment. So abuse can come in two ways: physical, emotional, and mental. So if you grew up in a family environment whereby abuse was a norm, then obviously there's a perpetrator and a victim. The perpetrator is the one that causes the abuse, and then the victim is the one that receives the abuse. So the victim is the one that usually receives, the abuse. So the perpetrator is usually the one that is in control of the situation. So in that case, the victim is now used to getting that behavior, that is controlled by the perpetrator, that is very toxic towards them, and they feel like they're not in control of the situation, because they're always just getting mistreated, they're always just getting, backlash, they're always just getting abused, you understand, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or physically. So that causes one to grow up with controlling issues. Another reason can be a home full of mental health illnesses. So if you grew up in a home whereby people don't usually process their mental health illnesses, because if we're being quite honest, guys, it's normal, to have mental health problems. We're human, we go through things, but it's important for you to process those issues that you have mentally. Give yourself time and process it. So if you grew up in a home whereby there was no processing, instead the mental health issues were dealt with in a very toxic way that doesn't actually take away the issue but suppresses it, then what happens is the person with the mental health issue will end up being controlling, in terms of how they treat you, you understand? So then they end up causing you to have controlling issues as an adult. So that's another point. And then the next one can be a home full of substance abuse. So if you grew up in a house whereby there was a lot of drugs used, a lot of alcohol drank, a lot of substances that you can think of that are detrimental to one's health, it can cause someone to actually have controlling issues. Because if you notice homes whereby parents or family members use substance abuse and they abuse it, use substances and they abuse it, usually there's an imbalance when it comes to relationships. So usually the person that is under the influence of the substance is usually very controlling and abusive. They usually don't listen. They usually allow the substance to take over them, and then they end up wanting to control things, in the house, in the relationship, with decision making and all of those things. So that can be another cause for controlling issues, behaviors. And then another one can be a learned behavior from the community. So let's say, for example, I stay in Garankuwa, and then in my neighborhood in Garankuwa, every time I see relationships, maybe my street, like maybe there's like 4 couples, and within those couples, I see that the men are usually the ones that are controlling, or the women are usually the ones that are controlling towards the men. Then since let's say I'm like 12 years old, I'll obviously be evaluating the patterns amongst those couples, especially if it's people that I'm used to because I stay in the same street with them. I'll evaluate that, no man, there's this individual is usually the one that's more controlling, there's no balance between the two. So I can learn that from the people that I usually associate myself with, or the people that I usually see on a daily basis, in the community. Because at the end of the day, we are creatures of habit, and the people that we see, usually the people that we hang around with, usually, we can adapt, to how they live, especially when you're a child. When you're a child, you adapt to things. You're like a sponge to your surroundings easily in comparison to when you're an adult. So that's another point. And then also causes of control issues can come from disorders, disorders such as obsessive compulsive disorder, which is OCD, anxiety disorders, PTSD, which is post traumatic stress disorder. Disorders can cause people to have controlling issues. Usually, like, for example, if someone has anxiety disorder, anxiety usually makes you have like panic attacks, like, okay, cool down, Palisa, you okay? It just makes you panic. It makes you panic, so you feel like you're losing control of yourself. So in that moment, you can then snap and try and control the situation, but your control will be very toxic, because now you're in a state whereby you're panicking and you want to like gain control, but then your control ends up becoming toxic. Because why? You're under panic, you're under anxiety. So you might end up maybe getting in a fight with your partner, getting in a fight with your sibling, getting in a fight with your family member, because you have this anxiety, you have this disorder that keeps on triggering you, and it causes you to be controlling, aggressive. Because controlling comes with like exerting dominance, and exerting dominance that is like pervasive, that is toxic. So that can be another point. And then so yeah, those are basically some of the causes that cause control issues, amongst people, stemming from childhood, stemming from even teenagehood, stemming from adulthood. It's not only limited to childhood. So it's very important, guys, to be aware of, your control issues. Like, for example, I know back in the days, I used to struggle a lot with control issues, like, especially when it came to relationships. I used to be very, very controlling, and it came to a point whereby it started becoming toxic, you understand? Because I wasn't aware of how toxic it got, because I ended up now pushing people away. I started behaving in a very unbearable manner, you understand? And I had to look at myself and ask myself, like, why are you behaving like that? Why are you trying to be controlling the whole time? Why aren't you not having an equal give and take, in your relationships? You're pushing people away. So I had to look at the roots, the causes of me trying to be controlling. And I realized it's basically, me being scared of getting hurt, considering the amount of times I've gotten hurt in my life. So in order for you to not get hurt, I usually wanted to control the outcome of things, so that I can be able to control that I don't get hurt. So, just be aware, guys, of the causes. Just be aware, because obviously, trauma can usually, trigger you to be controlling. So when you're aware, you'll be able to be aware of your trauma, and you'll be able to deal with your trauma, so that you can be able to dismantle these controlling issues that are actually causing defects in your life. So now we're tapping into the signs of controlling behaviors. So how do you pick up that I or someone around you has controlling behaviors? The first one, someone that doesn't take accountability for their mistakes has controlling issues, because they're basically controlling the outcome of things. You do something wrong to someone and you don't say sorry. You hit them with silent treatment. You pretend like they're not there. You pretend like they don't exist. And then, so basically you're the one that's controlling the outcome. The victim is hurt. They're traumatized. They're broken. Their trust for you is broken. They're unhappy. They're sad. They're depressed. You understand? They have anxiety. They're not okay. You understand? You've caused all of these things, and you're not taking accountability. So you're basically trying to control the situation. You're manipulating it. So those are signs of someone that is controlling. Number two, someone that's always exerting dominance, unnecessarily. Because guys, we both have, both male and female, we both have a dominant side and a submissive side. So basically masculine side and feminine side. We all have the two amongst all of us, both genders, male and female. So there's some people that end up exerting their dominance unnecessarily amongst other people, that maybe all the time they want to be in the spotlight, that all the time they want to show that they are the king of the jungle. You understand? They're the bovas, the pit bulls of the jungle, unnecessarily, even when they don't need to. That is someone that has controlling issues. Then number three, people trying to tell you, if you have someone around you or you yourself, maybe like telling your friends or your partners that, hey, don't hang out with Steve. We want to Steve. We hang out tonight. Because if you hang out with Steve, then we're not gonna get along, me and you. Oh, that place, Echabavu. No, I don't think it's good if you go and hang out there anymore. I just want you to stay away from that place. If you have someone that's controlling who you should hang around with, where, and what you should do, and what you should wear, that person has controlling issues, my love. Let me tell you. They have controlling issues. You can't tell someone what they should do, who they should hang around with, where they should go, and what they should wear. Like, in your right state of mind, would you actually tell someone to do that? That's control. That's like toxic control. The person can't be themselves in order for them to be with you, or to be in a partnership with you, or to be around you. They can't be themselves. So be aware, guys. And then another point is someone who's possessive, someone who feels like they're entitled to you. Guys, let me tell you something. When you're in a relationship, or a friendship, let's not just speak about romantic, let's also speak about platonic, and let's also speak about family, or any kind of relationship, even if it's business partners. Once someone starts becoming possessive, when someone starts feeling entitled to you, it is a red flag. Like red. Let me see if I can find. Okay, I can't find something red. I wanted to show you the color of red because some of you guys are colorblind, eh? Some of you guys are colorblind. When you see red, you see pink. When you see red, you see green. It's a red flag, guys, because now this person feels like they own you. You become a product that they bought from a shop, and they feel like they own you. No. Don't allow someone to be possessive over you. That's bad. It's toxic. So that is a sign that someone is controlling. And then also someone that wants to control your finances, where you should work, where you should go for holiday. Just control your whole life. It's a no. And then another point is constant intimidation. Someone that's constantly intimidating you. So someone that constantly wants you to be scared of them so that they can control you. It's bad. It's bad. That is a form of control, because obviously when you're scared of someone, you always retreat. You always retreat. And when you retreat, you allow that person to step on your toes, to cross your boundaries, to make you a doormat to step on. And someone like that has control over you. So you cannot allow that in your life. You cannot associate yourself, with that kind of person. So sorry about that, guys. So guys, these are the signs that you can evaluate about yourself and people that are around you, and people that you associate yourself with. Okay, so now we're going to jump right into the impact that control issues has in relationships. Point number one, it causes an imbalance between giving and taking. So as I mentioned earlier, people that have control issues usually take advantage of their victims. So they just take from them. They take, they don't give back. So if someone always takes and doesn't give back, there's no mutual understanding. There's no mutual give and take. There's no mutual relationship or connection. You understand? It's one-sided. The scale is like this instead of being like this. So that's the first impact. The second impact, it causes the, excuse me guys, the perpetrator to harass the victim. Someone who's controlling usually just crosses people's boundaries, so they end up harassing you. Physically, mentally, emotionally, they harass you. Number three, it causes the victim to always experience ridicule. So the victim will always just be embarrassed by the perpetrator. Maybe the perpetrator will do something to embarrass the victim. The perpetrator will say something to make the victim feel small. So they'll always feel ridiculous around the perpetrator. They'll always feel small around the perpetrator. Point number three, it causes the victim to beg for love, for care, for nurture. You understand? Meanwhile, it's not supposed to be like that. If it's equal give and take, you give and you receive the same thing. You don't even have to beg for it. It'll just come naturally, just as much as you exude it naturally. Because guys, love, you don't force love. You understand? It's there. It's an emotion that's there, and it's felt, So you'll give it and you'll also feel it if the person equally gives it back to you. And you'll also feel it if the person doesn't give it back to you. And then another point is it causes isolation from friends, from family, from colleagues. So as I mentioned earlier, if let's say, for example, you have a best friend that's super controlling of you, they'll isolate you from other friends. They'll isolate you from your family members. Maybe they want you to always hang out with them the whole time. Maybe on a weekend you want to go visit your family members, and they'll be like, no, Chomi, Zala, I feel like we should go Lucy's. I feel like we should go Mpumalanga. They're always just trying to take you away from connecting with other people. Let's say, for example, maybe you have a meeting with your colleagues, and then your friend is just always trying to steal your time. Maybe they'll lie and say, yo, Chomi, like, I need help, please buy pills for me. I couldn't make it because my car is giving me problems. But like, they'll always just try and steal your time. That's someone that's controlling. They want to control your life, so that you can stick around. And then another point is it causes low self-esteem for the victim. Usually when you're controlled, you feel like you don't have a voice. You feel like you don't have a voice. You feel like you're useless. So it lowers your self-esteem. When you feel useless, you lower your self-confidence. You lower your self-esteem because you don't feel good enough. Confidence comes from feeling good about yourself. It comes from feeling hyped up about yourself. Like, I got this. I'm the queen. You understand? I'm the queen. Like, hyping yourself up increases your confidence. So if you're always being brought down, then it reduces your confidence. And then another point is it causes anxiety and depression. It causes mental health issues, guys. When you have someone that is controlling, whether it's a family, whether it's a friend, whether it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a wife, a husband, it causes mental health issues because you feel like, why is this person controlling? Like, what is it that I'm not giving them? Why are they trying to belittle me? Why are they trying to control who I am? Why are they trying to suppress me, who I am, and make me someone that I'm not? Why are they trying to keep me away from certain people? Why are they trying to keep me away from certain opportunities? Another point is it can lead to physical violence. So this is abuse. Some controlling behaviors can cross the limits. This is when you cross the boundaries. And then maybe a husband or a father ends up hitting, maybe the father ends up hitting their child, because they want to control them. Or a husband ends up hitting their wife because they want to control her. Or the wife ends up hitting their husband because they want to control her. Or the husband ends up hitting his husband because they want to control him. So just be mindful, guys. Evaluate your associations and check if there's probably this in a relationship. If there is, don't dismiss the person immediately. If the person recently started, give them a chance to voice out, talk about it, so that they're aware that they're actually toxic. And it's up to them whether they want to change or not. Now that we know the problems, we know the impact that controlling issues have, now we dive deep into the solutions. So the first one can be going to a psychologist. Guys, a psychologist is one of the best ideas. They're qualified, they know what they're doing, they can take out the roots of your problem. Number two, go to a therapist. A therapist and a psychologist is the same thing. It's just that they differ in levels and resources and tools, but they're basically one and the same thing. You know, it's like a heads and tail of a coin, one and the same thing. And then number three, one can check out cognitive behavioral therapy, because that is specific to the problem of controlling issues. Because controlling issues, controlling behaviors, they're a psychological problem, you know, they're cognitive problem. It's cognitive problem. So if you check out that kind of therapy that is specifically for that, then it's going to be way easier for you because the resources will tackle exactly that. Then another way would be meditation. Guys, I always emphasize meditation. I'll never cancel this one out because it's very powerful. Meditation is basically connecting yourself to your higher being, to your higher self, to God, to Allah, to Ra, to Jesus, you know, whoever you believe in, to Buddha. It connects you to your higher source. Because you're silent, you're still, you're listening to yourself, your inner voice, which is the voice of God. You know, you're getting signs, you're getting answers. You understand? So meditation doesn't have to be you sitting in a lotus flower position, but it can mean sitting out in nature, closing your eyes, maybe sitting on a chair, or sitting on the grass, or laying on the grass, or taking a walk in nature. It's a form of meditation. Meditation can help you be aware of what's going on with your thoughts, with your emotions. You understand? And then another one can be yoga. Yoga is another one that I'll never leave out, guys. Yoga is very powerful because it also allows you to be still. It allows you to tap into those things that you've suppressed. It brings them to the surface, you know. So that's how powerful yoga is. And what's nice about yoga, it's different. You don't do one thing over and over again. If you get bored of a certain style, tomorrow you can do a certain style. There's vinyasa yoga, there's yoga for stability, yoga for balance, yoga for love. You know, play around with it. Go on YouTube. There's a lot of yoga practitioners there. Or go on Google. You can get a couple of moves, you know, that are shown to you by yoga practitioners. Or maybe be a subscriber, you know, in a community of yoga classes. And change your life, guys. You know what I'm saying? Another way you can do is you can do journaling. Journaling is basically, you know, having a book, a pen, you know, just writing, or maybe typing some notes in a laptop, or typing some notes in a phone. But I prefer the traditional way, which is a pen and a book, because I feel like it's more sacred and it's more involving and engaging, you know, because these technological devices, guys, they are a distraction. They are. So yeah, but either or, whatever works for you, whatever is convenient for you. And then last but not least, stand up for yourself, guys. Learn to stand up for yourself. When you feel like you're in a situation whereby you're being controlled, you know, just let the person know that it stops right there. You know, it stops right there. You know, love is not supposed to be controlling. If it is, then it's not love. You understand? It's not love. It's toxic. So that is it from me, guys. I hope this message resonates with someone out there. Take care of yourselves, guys. Evaluate yourselves and also evaluate the people that are around you. Make sure you're in safe spaces and you're associated with people that bring you joy, happiness, love, and peace. Not toxicity, not hurt, not pain. You understand? Not drama. You understand? Peace, love, and light, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time.